welcome to the Unblinded Huddle, the #1 place to start your day with a daily dose of integrity-based human influence. And first off, I did not know that Cheeseburger in Paradise was actually a song. I thought it was a restaurant chain, which my family loved. And I'm also disappointed that they fully closed their doors in 2020. So shout out to memory of Cheeseburger in Paradise, one of the best fried pickles on the planet. And we cannot forget their Cheeseburger in Paradise sauce. So outside of that, what is happening, you fine folks? Happy Trajectory Tuesday, and I'm super grateful to be sharing yet another amazing morning here together. And there is a lot going on. We have Mr. Callaghy traveling the world, merging ecosystems in the highest of places, doing amazing things. We will see if he can jump on at his really difficult to find service when you're in the middle of an island, in the middle of nowhere. And we'll leave that cliffhanger, right there where it is. So for you, on this Trajectory Tuesday, and wait, I believe I hear a rustle in the distance. Mr. Callaghy, is that you?
That is. What's happening, brother?
What's up, man? What's cooking? I just told everyone that you might be on an island somewhere, and I didn't know if you were going to have reception. So I left that there, and we'll kick it over to you to start us off on this Tuesday.
Yeah. Hey, so first of all, let's start with thank you all for being here. Happy Trajectory Tuesday, and what an incredible job, Fernando, that you did last night. But let's talk about what that stands for. What that stands for is scale and duplication. Fernando was on The Real Raw yesterday and crushed it. Fernando and Adam were on the What is Unblinded and why The Real Raw, right? Remember, the second question is why. What is Unblinded and why Real Raw? What is Unblinded, why, and why Real Raw, right? And the feedback was fantastic. Thank you, Beck and Siri, for having been there. Miss you both enormously, and so excited to chat, soon, because all of the ecosystem capital that you incredible women have should be something that there's just all kinds of value that you could add all over the place, as with most of us. So Fernando, what you represent is what everybody here should be looking for, because if all you do is rise your ecosystem capital and all you do is have a lot of connections, it's like picking up as much sand as you possibly can. It just falls through your fingers because there's only so much sand that you could possibly pick up. And if you build larger and larger containers, and the larger and larger containers are incredible partners, friends, colleagues, coworkers, employees that you co-create with, then you can continue to pick up more and more and more and add and create infinitely more value. So Fernando, that was such a blessing, the work that you did and the work that Adam did yesterday. How did that feel for you?
It was definitely, very fulfilling to be able to step in and be grateful to pick up the mic that you've been obviously covering so greatly. It was amazing to have Adam there and just go back and forth. And as I've been saying, thank you for anchoring on it. I am simply a byproduct of what commitment to the formula looks like, as that is all I did. I spoke about the truth. I went through the prism of the formula. I answered with integrity and honesty. And there was a lot of, positive interaction feedback. And I'm honored to have been a second dancer and create this. But that is what everything you just said. It is speaking through the prism of the formula. And
I heard minds were blown. So my first year of building law offices of Sean Callaghy back in 1997, I was the lone dancer. It was exhausting. It was stressful. It was crazy. I wanted to quit every day. I couldn't even imagine what it looked like. 2 years later, right, I had 40 people working there. And it was unbelievable because as we grew, I replaced myself at doing the less and less productive activities. And it's the same thing in building everything and anything. So in this Trajectory Tuesday, don't think, oh my God, I'm going to do more and more and more, and I just can't do all this. There's a bottleneck. Like there's been a bottleneck, and the intensity of what's happening on Unblinded for me and my schedule is crazy. And I knew it would be crazy in the fourth quarter of 2020, and that might carry over to the first quarter of 2021. But like the vision of scale and duplication is present and on the way in people like Adam and Fernando and Frank Clark, in Patricia, in Diana, in Andres, in Bella, in TTP, in Andy Zapata, in TNB, and Joe Coburn, and Ken Van Loo, and more, right? As we partner, do things like scale and duplication everywhere to capitalize an ecosystem value and ecosystem capital and share it integrously. So I'm massively excited. Now, yeah, I'm on an island. And here's the question, and I did a video on this already this morning. What is the difference between, what is the interplay in the 6 human needs, as Tony Robbins describes them, of significance, growth, connection, and love? The 3 of them: significance, growth, connection, love, and contribution. Those 4. And how do they interplay? And you should be taking notes on this now. With ego, as a rooster is making all kinds of noise, with how do they connect and are affected by ego, false modesty, humility, and conveying your HUI. So growth, connection, love, contribution, significance, the human needs, that bucket of the 6 human needs, how does that interconnect with modesty, humility, truth in conveying your HUI, and your HUI? How do all those things fit? And here's my very simple answer. Yes, I am on Necker Island. Here's the ocean. Richard Branson's island. You know, and I hold no blame, no judgment, no nothing, right, about any of it, where I'm about to go with this, and it's incredible. But is the idea that Fernando to Manson and feel I am significant, I am better than other people, or this means something about my life for my identity? And the answer is absolutely unequivocally not, because truth be told, my absolute preference right now would be taking a week to rest, to do absolutely nothing, to regroup, to think about the building, scaling, and growth of Unblinded. Now, that wasn't going to happen with the schedule anyway, but this incredible place, this extraordinary, and we're going to be coming from here all week with pictures. One thing. And Fernando, what would you say?
Hey, Sean, I'm losing you just a little bit.
Yeah, I was saying, what do you think that one thing is? Like, what's the one thing that is first and foremost on my mind about being here?
First and foremost on your mind, I'm going to go with 1, ecosystem merging.
Yeah.
Number 2 would be growth.
Yeah. And now to ecosystem merge and to grow, what's the first to figure out? After you open listening and build rapport, I'll give you a hint. Then what do you need to figure out?
I missed the first part of that sentence, but what I heard was, once you open listening, what's the first thing you need to figure out? I'm going to kick it back to you.
Yeah. The thing you need to figure out is you need to figure out, what does somebody else need? Not what you want to give them. Not because you think, or I think, that they should understand and want to be a better person of influence, or they should want to change their diet. They should want to change their approach to health. They should want to change their approach to money. It's not about what we think they should do. It's about us connecting and realizing what their pain points are and or future pain points, and seeing how they connect back to something today in a rapport-filled way. Point, right? I am not going to ask Richard Branson for anything. I'm not going to ask him to take a picture with me. I'm not going to ask him to be in a video or do something with me. I am going to figure out how to have that amazing person have a unique and congruent experience, which results in, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me, because it does, right? He's a human being. He's done extraordinary things. I can't even imagine the stress levels that he's had in his life. And I'm sure, like everybody else, there's things that he would love, want, and need, because they just did an event here. And somehow there was space in the very last day or two. That's weird, right? Why would there be space? So I'm imagining that the filling of space here on Necker Island might be something that Unblinded could add value to. So that's an initial tracking, right? Because it seemed like, there's a little bit of a scramble at the end. That's a pain point, right? So that's how I think, like, wow, what could I do to potentially we do to add that value? So that's my thinking always. It's not like, oh my God, get a picture. Oh my God, get a picture. Like, why would we do that? It's taking. It's about us. It's how can we add value? Fernando, what's present for you as I share that?
What's present for me first is congratulations. That's the first time you did an impersonation that did not sound like a Muppet. So first, that was the first thing that made
I thought it actually did sound like a Muppet still, but
no, it was different. It was a different Muppet. If it was still a Muppet, it was certainly a different Muppet. So that's one. Number two, I have like pain in my guts as I reflect on like my Tony Robbins experience. And number three is this is, you know, a beautiful example of what just integrity-based human influence. For some reason, I'm thinking integrity scarcity looks like is stepping into the frame that you've created is a beautiful way to filter how to ecosystem merge with people. So I am downloading your thinking as a way to process how to merge with people.
Yeah. And so I met Myron a few minutes ago, and he'll be on the video, and he's somebody who's helping here as a server. And I put him in the video, and I said, at the end, I explained some of the dynamics we just talked about. And I said, how can I help you? What can we add value? And he's like, I want to own my own business. And it was a dream to work here. He's been here for 2 days. So we might bring Myron on and have a conversation because it matters. And that would mean the world to him. Like, I don't know that it would mean the world to Richard Branson to be on the Unblinded Huddle, but it would mean the world to Myron. So for him, it's not an ask, it's a give. He's like, oh my God, how can I get this video we just shot? How can I get this video? So how can we find ways to give value to everybody we encounter? Everybody. And I mean it sincerely. The guy came up with water. Couldn't have been more generous. And I'm not, there's no pride in it, but is that is the optimal way to think? When we're tracking with how can we give value to all the people we encounter. So then when we encounter somebody like Richard Branson or Tony Robbins, we're not sitting in the space of like becoming somebody different and feeling out of integrity. It's how we show up in the world. Does that make sense, Fernando?
Yeah, no, I love that. It's not about showing up differently to different people. It's about choosing who you want to be, period.
Yeah. So this week is also about transition. So I'll anchor on this. We're going to wrap in a sec. It's about transitions. I am present to, as we have this December of trajectory acceleration for everybody, I am present to that we lose stuff in transitions. Write the word transitions down. How we transition at each of the steps in an ecosystem merger. How we transition from ecosystem merger to speaking. How we transition from speaking to sales meeting. How we transition from sales meeting to sale. How we transition from sale to disposable income. I'll pause there in the first 5 levers. Those transitional steps, we have massive deletion, dilution, distortion all over the place. So how do we transition each one during? Time frames matter. Time frames matter, right? Because we lose energy of a moment over time, number one. Number two, it also matters how we keep rapport intact from one stage to the next, right? So any questions, thoughts, or comments? I'll take a question or two about anything to do with, being here. I understand that might be interesting for some folks or not, all good, or anything we talked about today. So Fernando, anybody in the chat want to come forward? Anybody want to unmute? Don't need a question, but if there's any clarifications or questions people have about our topics from today, not something else, not off topic, in service of the morning. Transitions, ego, conveying your HUI effectively. So if you're like, hey, I have the ability to create this, like Anil Gupta had the ability to create this meeting. Anil Gupta has proximity and connection to Richard and people here. It's remarkable. Knowing that about Anil is important to know what he can do, what value he can add versus, hey, look at me with Richard. It's no, it's that he never asks for anything. That's why he's here and he created it. We can learn from that, right? And it's amazing. And the value he added to my life by being like, yes, like, let's go. And we can move heavens and earth and call like the former prime minister to get like COVID restrictions waived. It's completely insane. That's value. And if we don't know that about a person, then we wouldn't know why we'd want to potentially co-create with Anil. But then if you ask Anil, hey, come judge on my real raw, that's probably a bad ask. So final point is you have an ask bucket, ASK, an ask bucket. And like in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, right, when they were saying for Indy to choose which grail to drink out of, the first person chose, and he's like, he chose poorly. And the guy died. And Indy chose wisely and drank from the cup of life and saved his father's life. That to me gives rise to the point of the ask bucket. Choose wisely with your asks. Choose wisely. Don't leverage that which is around you for ease. Think of what's the right optimal move for value exchange. Ask depletes our ability to ask in the future. That's why I never took a picture with Tony Robbins in all those moments. And then you go, well, how did you get to a place that just because, where he would say these incredible things about you at the spiritual trip a few weeks ago? That's because I have a limit. I tried to give more value than I've taken. I could never pay the things that he's done for my life through his books and tapes, but in the encounters with him in the room, in that environment, I'm like, how can I give? How can I give? How can I give? And that has risen things dramatically to the point I just had the privilege of speaking on that stage for the 10th time. That happens because I did not deplete my ask bucket. And I brought people and they're like, oh, I want to get a better seat. Oh, can I go up and ask things of Joanne, the platinum people? Like, no, don't ask for anything. It's zero ask. Leave no footprint. There's a concept in scuba diving called leave nothing but bubbles, meaning don't touch the reef, don't damage the reef. Add value by touching and disrupting nothing. And that's the point. And now you go, wait, I should never ask for anything? No. You can ask for things when it's a way to add. I asked to speak on stage there through people to add value. To add value. I knew how I could add value. So I ask for nothing. I take nothing. I just add value. And then as a byproduct, I receive massive value. So Fernando, anybody want to come forward? Any comments or thoughts? First of all, does anybody want to jump in? Is there anybody out there?
Yes, we have Gerald Barnes. We'll give you, a moment to unmute. And my Gerald Barnes, whenever you're ready. And my greatest takeaway so far is leave nothing but bubbles. That is my funny takeaway for today. I haven't thought of bubbles in quite a long time. So Gerald, if you're unmuted, give you a few more seconds, and we'll kick it over to you. 3, 2, 1. If not, Sean, please take it home.
Hey, Gerald, how are you, brother?
He's currently still muted. Oh, there he is.
Hey, Gerald.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, man. So what can I clarify for you? What's happening?
Well, you clarified it just in that last statement. I was kind of just thinking, how do we take things to the next level? And you just brought it home as you do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sir. And so for you, Gerald, it's whatever, you're looking to build. And I'll give you a quick number of values you can add. You can add, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me. I've given that to famous people, and it's blown their minds. I sat with a famous rock star at a lunch. Thank you, Siri and Beck, for creating it. At the end of the lunch, the person said, I've never felt from a person like yourself, that's a longer conversation to what that meant, that I see you, I hear you, and what I say matters. This is a rock star famous that everybody in this call would know their name. And that's because I just deeply listened and authentically acknowledged. And there's massive value to be added. Can you add it as a speaker? Can you add it as a galvanizer of energy? Can you add it to their life like Rob Gill added it to mine by commenting on videos, by posting things, by liking things? What value can you add? Here's the key. With no expectation of a return. Now, also don't waste your time. So choose wisely. Choose wisely, leave nothing but bubbles, and add massive value. And then convey your HUI like crazy in the moment. Like crazy in the moment, in truth. Don't hide, but add value. Be who you are. Don't be falsely modest, and add massive value. Thank you, Gerald. Love you, brother. Fernando, final. Thank you.
Final. Thank you, Gerald, for blessing us on the Huddle. Love when we have you on here. It is Acceleration City. Mr. Callaghy, excited that you are out there doing your magic as always. Thank you for constantly teaching what you do and how you do it, as you are a walking example of what the formula looks like. When you're off the formula, we learn. When you're on the formula, we learn. I love the prism and I love the staple. Would have saved me a lot of pain in my earlier years of significance if the constant thought really, because we always talk about adding value. The value you describe is slightly different, I will challenge, that what most people believe value is. And that is a very micro yet macro distinction of how to filter how you can add engagement and help others step into the world of integrity-based human influence. And I'll kick it back to you to take us home.
Yep. I just want Adam Gugino, real quick, thank you, Fernando, to hit Fernando with some social proof and validation of what he did yesterday and last night. So
that was going to come. I just wanted to drop in on, the don't deplete your ask bucket, and they're not looking for any more fans. They have enough fans. But last night, what Fernando did, I want to say it was magical, Sean. Like we talk about the magic trick on The Real Raw, but it wasn't magic. It wasn't because he's a genius, which, he is. It was deep practice in the formula.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
Deep practice in an advanced science called the formula. Deep practice in an advanced science called the formula. Incredible job. And AG, you're amazing as well. Your ego subjugation, your humility, and your ability to execute and implement is beyond comprehension. And thank you for entrusting me with being on this island and the investment of time, money, energy into it. I will add value, and I will make sure that this returns 100-fold for everybody on this call. If you rise in your mastery in the formula and you're committed to add value, I'm committed to add value, and that's why I'm here. And we'll talk about all the incredible people that have helped add that value along the way shortly. Final, I had a Q-tip stuck further up my nose yesterday on Tortola than I've ever had in my life. I think it hit my brain, and I hate things stuck up my nose. Well, I don't hate anything, can't stand it. So, and I'm joking, but not. The daily COVID testing, I am very interested in when daily COVID testing leaves my life, because I am setting all kinds of records being COVID tested. And hazmat suits, crazy. The world out here is a lot different than what we're seeing in the US. Like hazmat suits everywhere, COVID thing stuck up in your nose, trackers being like attached to you. Craziness, wild, but massive gratitude for being here. Everybody is Trajectory Tuesday. Choose wisely and don't hide. Massive acceleration. The Real Raw is the experiential marketing hack that you've ever encountered. And if you're not using it and you want to grow, you're lost and confused, and I love you anyway. Have a beautiful day. Get into action. Build your Real Raw. Massive ecosystem acceleration. You're giving value. Do not diminish the value you bring. Do not diminish the value you bring. Do not diminish the value you bring through every encounter, including the Real Raw. Fastest, most